Inside Huntsville with Brenda Martin, a conversation with department heads at City Hall on streets, ball fields, public safety, and more. And also with our community partners that add economic security, support education, and enhance the city's quality of life.
Hello, I'm Brenda Martin with Inside Huntsville, and thanks so much for joining us today. The City of Huntsville operates under a mayor-council form of government as defined by the Mayor-Council Act of the state of Alabama. There are 5 city council districts. Today, I had the pleasure of speaking with Councilman Bill Kling, who has represented District 4 since 1988. Councilman, welcome and thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to a great program.
Well, I know this is a very busy time for you as always, and so I really do appreciate you coming and being here with us today. First of all, let's talk about Bill Kling. Who is Bill? You were born, I do know that you were born and raised here, which I might add, there's a very few of you guys here that's still here. Like 10% of the population, and you're included in that. Let's talk about Bill.
Well, to make it even smaller than that, my wife also was a native of Huntsville. Oh. And what are the odds of having a whole couple where both members are born and raised in the city of Huntsville? But I like Huntsville. I was born and raised here, and I think it's a great community. We have some challenges certainly in city government, but I think we have a lot of great things that are taking place, and really proud to be part of the team that we have in city government, and I think we're going to have some great things happen in the city of Huntsville in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about, before you got on the city council, what did you do?
Well, of all things, I was a news reporter who, among other things, used to host a talk program with politicians. And one of the things I noticed was that all these elected officials, they were so accessible at election time. They wanted to be on and talk issues. And then once the election was over, they kind of went into hibernation, and you'd never see them again for another 3.5 years. So
Interesting comment. Now, what inspired you to run for office?
Well, one of the things that I had done was to set up radio broadcasts of city council meetings. Oh. And I would see kind of firsthand what was going on from the third base dugout level. And I kind of thought that, well, I would like to get in there. I think I could do better than some of these guys. And, I have opinions. And so basically I became a news reporter who decided he wanted to participate. So in 1984, there was a vacancy on the city school board, so I ran with 5 other candidates for the vacancy and was fortunate to win. And one of the first things I did was set up monthly town meetings for the parents.
Wonderful. Now, in your District 4?
Correct.
What are the boundaries?
Well, District 4 is basically a microcosm of the city. It's in the middle, very roughly. It goes to Old Madison Pike, Jordan Lane to the west, mostly around California Street with a little peninsula that picks up Covemont to the east. Mm-hmm. To the north, it goes over near Holmes Avenue, 565, and to the south, it goes out to Birch Springs Road. So it is basically right in the middle of the city, and it has a little bit of everything that the city has.
Well, now each district I found has a distinct personality. Your district certainly speaks to that. Talk about the makeup of your district.
Well, again, it's a microcosm of the city. We have some of the very nice high-income areas of the community near Randolph School, Covemont, Cedarhurst to the east. And then we have the medical district areas kind of somewhat in the middle. Then we go out west where the old mill villages are, and we go further out to areas adjacent to Research Park. So it's a microcosm of the city, and one thing people don't realize is that about a quarter of the population is Hispanic. So it is changing over the years.
So you have a large population of Hispanics in your district?
Correct.
What's the number? How many people do you represent?
Well, each of the council members, plus or minus 1%, represent approximately 36,000, 37,000 people. And Under the Justice Department guidelines that we have, the population of each of the districts has to be within about 2%. So you're going to find that each of the 5 districts has roughly about the same amount.
Bill, Councilman, how long ago did the city of Huntsville begin the districting process?
Okay. The districting process actually took place shortly after I was elected to the school board in 1984. That was an at-large position. And there were a lawsuit, federal court orders that came out. And in 1988, when I ran for city council, that was in a district situation. Mayor Steve Hettinger was elected, and then we had 5 single-member districts that came on board in 1988.
So before that, everyone was
At large.
Was
Citywide.
at large,
Correct.
citywide. Okay.
Correct.
So, what do you find are some of your concerns in your district?
Well, again, since the district I represent is somewhat landlocked and it's surrounded by the other districts, the things I'm concerned about are more the meat and potato issues, getting the grass cut, having inspections done in neighborhoods to keep housing standards up to what they should be, road resurfacing. These are not the glamorous things, but the things that we like to do to keep our neighborhoods looking good. And also with older areas kind of falling apart a little bit, then there's a renovation process that takes place. So I like the idea that we're seeing a lot of new growth, a lot of new development taking place in the West Huntsville central areas of the community. And we now are the home of 2 neighborhoods that are registered on the National Registry of Historic Places. So we're proud about that.
So speak to that. What does that mean? And where are they?
Okay, this is Merrimack and Low Mill. These are not historic districts per se, but they are acknowledged. They've been through the criteria where they have been selected by the U.S. Government to be placed on the National Registry of Historic Places. It's a recognition of the work that's being done by these respective neighborhoods. There's a great turnaround that's taken place. And we're finding that young couples are finding they don't want to live way out in Limestone County and commute. They're looking at Merrimack, they're looking at Low Mill, they're looking at Holiday Homes, and they find a good central location that's close to downtown, close to Research Park, close to Parkway City. And these are good areas that people are investing in.
So you find that a lot of the young people or the young professionals, if you will, families are moving into your area.
Yes, we're seeing that, and also the Mayfair neighborhood located near Huntsville High School.
Talk about the schools. How do you interact with the school system in your district?
Well, as a former school board member, I understand the school system is very, very important. The city council provides support, but I am a strong believer that state law takes precedence, and the school board and superintendent, they run the school system, lock, stock, and barrel. They have the legislative authority, they make the decisions. City government, we provide support, we provide financial assistance to them to build new schools, and we work together on a partnership with them.
And how much do we support financially the school system in terms of dollars and cents?
We are putting in approximately $25 million in capital maintenance and capital expenditures into the school system roughly on an annual basis.
Okay. What basically are your concerns and interest of your constituents, and can you give us some examples?
Well, again, neighborhoods I think are the most important things. I'm always trying to be an advocate for having a better neighborhood, doing what we can to put more resources into neighborhoods. One of the things that we had done about 15 years ago was to take roughly the entire road resurfacing budget and went into the West Lawn neighborhood and rebuilt several streets in the area, North Rose, South Rose, Birch Beach, Hawthorne, 14th Street. And in the aftermath of that, people have come back, they've been fixing up their homes, they've been painting them, landscaping them, and it's kind of helping that neighborhood area to make a rebirth over what it was beforehand. We're seeing that take place Mayfair, Low Mill, Merrimack, large segments of Holiday Homes. And again, the fact that the city is investing in the inner city areas of the community means that Huntsville inner city is a nice place to live. Compare us to Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Chattanooga, Tennessee. People are moving out of the inner areas except for, selected areas. And look at the city of Huntsville. We've got some very good things that are taking place in the central portions of the community. And I think that's very important.
So people are moving back into the city, if you will, into the inner city.
Absolutely.
Okay. In talking about your street maintenance, because over the years I've heard too that, geez, my street needs to be repaved, and how do I do it? My street hasn't been repaved in years. What is the process of that?
Well, the Public Works Department has an objective rating system that they do on streets. I'm an advocate, and I hear from these folks about getting their streets resurfaced, and I'm in agreement. One of the proudest achievements I've had on the City Council is the fact that for 5 of the past 7 years, I have been successful in getting the budget amended where 2/3 of the road resurfacing money goes into neighborhood streets. And this is helping us to catch up and to do more in our neighborhoods. And I think that's a good thing. It's a very good investment for us to make.
And we appreciate you being on the forefront of that as well. I'm sure your constituents do as well. Now, how do you handle your constituents' concerns? They give you a call and say, Councilman, this is what I need. And because, when you're talking about 37,000 people, of course, I know they're not calling all at one time, but that's a lot of folks to be responsible for and their needs. So how do you handle their concerns?
Well, I do try to stay in touch with the neighborhoods. In fact, one of the things I do every spring is to do a postcard survey where I have printed postcards that I distribute at restaurants and libraries and neighborhood gymnasiums, and go out to neighborhood meetings and just distribute these out. People take it and they can tell me what's on their mind, and I get better input from them than I would from the best consultant that we would ever want to go out and get. In addition to that, I have a monthly town meeting, and I try to go out to numerous neighborhood association meetings every month, and I have public office hours at City Hall, and I'm in the phone book. And with modern technology, we all have smartphones that people can email us, and myself and the other council members can respond very quickly to emails that we get, and we can shoot out an email to the appropriate city department. So there's a quick turnaround, and it's kind of like running on a treadmill, but you try to keep up with things, and it's very stimulating.
Let's talk about your monthly meetings because you really are in contact with your folks. You have monthly meetings, I believe, on Mondays at the third Monday, is it? Well, you tell us.
Third Monday of each month at the library. And,
which library?
Huntsville Public Library, downtown on Monroe Street,
okay.
the main area. It's in meeting room A, and it's something I've been doing ever since I've been an elected official. Before that, I had something very similar when I was on the school board. And,
What time do you hold them?
Well, the meetings are held at 7 p.m. third Monday of each month through this year, and then beginning in January of 2016, it's going to change to 6 p.m. So that way it'll be the same time as our city council meetings are.
I see.
And I've had people tell me that would be easier for them instead of them having to go home and then come back out. They can just kind of come over from work, and then after the meeting they can go home and eat dinner. So
Sure.
I listen. It seems to make sense. So we're gonna start that. 2016.
So what kind of questions are they asking, and who comes?
Well, it's not just people within the district I represent. It's for anybody that wants to come. But some of the issues that came up, we've got the Rocket City Marathon that's going to be coming during the month of December, and they're going to be running through Holiday Homes. And one of the residents told me that they'd like to see the city street sweepers come through just to kind of clear the streets of pine needles and leaves before the race, and certainly that's a good idea. Additionally, there are some noise problems taking place with a loud pickup truck that's making noise 3 o'clock in the morning. Then there are advertising circulars that are being thrown into yards when they're not supposed to do that, without when residents have opted out of that. So again, these are not super glamorous things, but they're things that are important to people.
That are concerning them, sure.
And then also we do have hot issues that come up from time to time in city government, and people will tell it like it is. And it's a good, it's a chance for me to get some good outside perspective, and helps me in my thinking process.
In fact, talking about that, okay, you hear their concerns and suggestions from your constituents. Is this what determines how you vote on certain things? Talk to us about that.
A lot of times it does, and but not all the time. Sometimes you have to make the tough decision. You may know more information than the public knows, and you have to do what you think is right. And for better or for worse, those folks hired you to do what you thought was best for them, and sometimes issues are not popular, but that's what you have to do.
How difficult is it, Councilman, to vote for a subject or vote for an item when it may not necessarily complement your area?
Well, there are things that you have to do. Again, we have 5 council members, and you have a little give and take. For example, there was an issue that was very important to my district, that we wanted to save the Jordan Lane Fire Station from being basically just bulldozed down. And I had to reach out to other council members, and we were able to work it out where the fire station was saved. And as part of the process, I certainly have in the back of my mind that whenever other council members have neighborhood issues that are important to them, certainly, I should be agreeable to provide support to them.
So it's a little give and take all the time, isn't it?
It is something like perhaps Congress has, but
sure.
We all work together. We're going to agree to disagree from time to time. Occasionally there's been a 1 versus 4 vote that I've been in the minority on, but that's me doing my job, just like the other council members are doing their job for what they think is right.
Sure. Let's go back to your neighborhoods. You have neighborhood associations, and very active, I might add, associations in your district. Talk about them a little bit.
Well, to me, that's one of the most fulfilling things, because we'll go to city council meetings, we have memos, we have budgets, and sometimes they're very cut and dry. I can go out, Holiday Homes, Rocket View, Merrimack, West Lawn, and go and work with these neighborhoods. We have problems, we try to get these problems taken care of, and when you see results, when you see something good that happens as a result of the work that you've done, working with the mayor, working with a whole bunch of great department heads and wonderful city employees.
Yes.
Then you see things take place. We've got, I think, possibly the finest recreation department in the entire country. You drive around the city, look at the parks that we have, look at the ball fields that we have for Little League Baseball, and you go out and look at some of these other cities in the Southeast, and you see we compare very favorably. In some ways, we actually just mop up the floor with other cities, so I'm proud of that.
Something to be very proud of, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, something else I'd like to talk about are the 10 committees and boards that council members are appointed to in fact, represent the council.
Yeah. We have, for example, on the City Planning Commission, the position of mayor makes 8 appointments, and then we have 1 member of the council who is elected to be the council representative on that. In addition, we have Research Park Board. That is very, very important because we have the 2nd largest research park in the entire country, and we know how important the research park is to the community. In addition, Community Action Agency does very important social services to the community. And we go on down the line. I'm working with Councilman Showers on the City Finance Committee. Yes. And we work with the administration and with the finance department to oversee a roughly $250 million budget. And very important. In fact, one of the good achievements out of our community is the fact that for about the past 6 years in a row, we have received a AAA bond rating, which puts Huntsville in the upper 6 or 7% of municipalities around the country. So very important board work that we do.
Doing a great job, huh?
Well, I think we're doing good, but I think you got to take your hat off to the department heads and the city employees. They're the guys in the trenches, and they're the ones that make things happen.
Exactly. Talking about boards, many of your constituents want to serve the city on a volunteer basis. So there's a number of, if I'm not mistaken, there's 59 boards, and city council members have an opportunity to ask their constituents to serve. Speak to that.
We have approximately 260 appointments that we make to boards. In addition to the ones we do, Mayor Battle also makes appointments to boards, and in some cases there's overlapping board member representation on that. But yeah, there's nothing exclusive about being on a city board. We're just looking for people who, number one, are committed to this city and want to get involved, and 2, have good attendance records. There's no reporting to the council. When I appoint somebody or if I nominate somebody, I'll ask of them, use your good judgment, do what you think is right, regularly attend meetings. You don't report to me. I have no control over you, and you are every bit as important in your capacity on that board as the council members are, on the city council. So we're very actively looking for new members because there is a balance between experience that we want to keep and at the same time rotating to bring in new blood, new energy, and getting people involved. But there's nothing restrictive about being on a city board. We're just looking for people who are interested in the community and want to get involved.
And to bring in some of our young professionals. They've got something to add to the table, huh?
We do. In fact, one of the most important boards that we have would be the Healthcare Authority, otherwise known as the board that oversees Huntsville Hospital. And that's a board that oversees a close to $1 billion a year industry that is one of the largest employers in this community.
Oh my.
Recently, I had worked to get a young professional person on that board, and that's just one of the examples that we have.
That's great. Now, how would they, if anyone's interested, how would they be able to get on to serve?
Contact the council member, and certainly with other appointments, also contact Mayor Battle in his office, because he has appointments that he makes also. But to the council members, email, handwrite, type, send in your resume, do it any way you want to. We have had handwritten letters, civic, religious, education experience, anything you want to put in there. There's no set form. It's just what types of boards would you like to get involved? What is your background?
What are you
interested? Yeah,
sure,
that's it.
Sure. Well, give us your hours, your email, your information, so that people can contact you, Councilman Kling.
Well, I guess one way to make it in a nutshell is this is my smartphone. I am available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. My home telephone is listed in the phone book, 534-7704. But I think, like myself, all the council members are accessible to the public. But I think smartphones have helped because we've been able to get emails from folks. We don't have to go to an office to get on a computer, track down what emails have I received since
That's right.
2 days ago when I first came to the office. I track things on this every day.
And I have to admit that you do respond.
I do. In fact, I believe I got 2 from you
right.
earlier today because an attachment was missing, and then one yesterday.
One yesterday, and you respond quickly, yes.
Well, I do read those things. But, we have a great city, and I really like being a council member. We work on the day-to-day things, but at the same time, the mayor and the council, we focus on the big picture, growth issues, new resources that we're adding to the community, planning for the future, agreements with the state government, and working with other communities in North Alabama for economic development. But we have the big picture, but the day-to-day things that we do, I think, are very important, very worthwhile, and I guess make me feel like I'm helping to contribute to the process.
And you are certainly doing that. And I tell you, my producer is telling me to wrap things up. Time goes real fast when you're having a great time. It's been my pleasure, Councilman Kling, to spend time talking to you, and I hope you'll join me again to share the updates in your district, because there's always things going on.
Absolutely.
And we want to, of course, the purpose of our show is to give that information to your constituents, our constituents. So again, I thank you so very much for being here. My guest today has been Huntsville's longtime Councilman Bill Kling, who represents District 4. It's been my pleasure to bring you another episode of Inside Huntsville on our government channel. I'm Brenda Martin. Enjoy your day.